The last time we talked about Bugatti, the ZR1X was handing them a defeat that cost 20 times more to absorb than the car that caused it. That was the Chiron era, the W16 era, and that era is over. Bugatti buried it themselves. What came next is called the Tourbillon, and after spending weeks with every number Bugatti has released, this video is truth. Before we talk about the Tourbillon, we need to establish what Bugatti is actually fighting. The American invasion is not a metaphor anymore. It is a documented trend. The Corvette ZR1X, starting under $175,000, has been methodically dismantling the justification for cars that cost 10 times more. Not on every metric, not at every racetrack, not in every category, but enough. Enough that the conversation changed. The question stopped being, how does Bugatti compare to Ferrari? The question became, why does a six-figure American car make a multi-million-dollar European one feel optional? And Bugatti knew the answer before we did. The Chiron was the wrong tool for the new fight. It weighed roughly 4,400 pounds. It had 4 turbos. It was a technological monument built for a world that no longer existed. The W16 was astonishing engineering theater. But theater and performance are not the same thing. So in June of 2024, Bugatti announced the Tourbillon. And the first thing they announced was what they were removing. The W16. Gone. In its place, Bugatti created an 8.3-liter, naturally aspirated V16. Hand-assembled. No turbos, no superchargers. Just compression, precision, and 9,000 RPM. Then they added 3 electric motors, 2 on the front axle, and 1 integrated into the 8-speed gearbox. Combined output, 1,800 horsepower. The Chiron Supersport had 1,600. The Tourbillon has 1,800. So on paper, Bugatti got faster. On paper. We'll come back to that. The engine. Here is what Bugatti did that almost nobody else was willing to do. Every major hypercar launched in the last decade has either gone turbocharged, hybridized, fully electric, or some combination of the three. The Ferrari F80 is turbocharged. The McLaren Senna was turbocharged. The Rimac Nevera is fully electric. The Chiron itself had 4 turbos. Bugatti looked at that entire landscape and chose natural aspiration. On an 1,800 horsepower car, the combustion engine alone makes 986 horsepower and revs to 9,000 RPM. The 3 electric motors add roughly 800 more, filling in the low-end torque that a naturally aspirated engine does not have at idle. That means the Tourbillon's power delivery is unlike anything else in production automotive history. It has instant electric response from 0 RPM. Then the V16 takes over. It pulls, and keeps pulling until 9,000 RPM, where it produces one of the greatest mechanical sounds of the modern era. I've heard the audio Bugatti released, and it does not sound like anything else being built right now. Quick question for the comments. Compare that sound to any turbocharged hypercar you've heard. Drop it below. Now let's talk numbers. 0 to 60 miles per hour, 2 seconds flat. 0 to 200 kilometers per hour, 5 seconds. 0 to 300 kilometers per hour, 10 seconds. Top speed, 276 miles per hour. And that last number is where things get interesting. The Chiron Supersport 300 Plus set a production car top speed record at 304 miles per hour. The Tourbillon tops out at 276. So the successor to the fastest production car in history is 28 miles per hour slower at top speed. That is either one of the most confident strategic decisions in automotive history, or it is a catastrophic miscalculation. Bugatti's answer is simple. The Tourbillon is not built only for a straight line. It is built for everything else. Over 1,000 pounds of downforce, active aerodynamics, a suspension system that reads the road 1,000 times per second. Bugatti traded the top speed record for the lap time. We'll find out if that was the right decision when the Nürburgring clock starts. The price. Then there is the price. 3,800,000 euros. Call it roughly $4 million at the door. Fully spec'd? Reportedly closer to $5.5 million. 250 units, all sold. Every allocation was gone before the first journalist ever drove one. Most buyers wrote the check before ever seeing one. For the price of one Tourbillon, You could buy 22 ZR1Xs, 22, and still have enough left over to build a track to race them on. But here's the detail that never gets enough coverage. Chiron owners, the people who spent millions on what was supposed to be the ultimate Bugatti, are now watching the entire collector landscape shift beneath them. The Tourbillon did not just replace the Chiron, it reset the hierarchy. Mate Rimac helped build a car so clearly more advanced that everything before it suddenly looked like the previous chapter. That is either brilliant or ruthless, probably both. And here is the irony nobody in the comment section is going to let Bugatti forget. The people who paid the most to support the brand are also the ones most exposed when Bugatti announces the next step. The reality check. Now, let's be honest, because what Bugatti built here is genuinely extraordinary. Start with the interior. Bugatti used mechanical watchmaking as the design language. The dashboard contains a mechanical speedometer and tachometer. Not digital, not screen-driven, mechanical. Gears, springs, analog physics. In a car that makes 1,800 horsepower, there are no screens in the primary instrument cluster. At a time when every other hypercar looks like an iPad wrapped in leather, Bugatti built a cockpit that belongs in a Geneva watch auction. It may be the most beautiful cabin in production automotive history. I'll say that without qualification. The carbon monocoque weighs just 155 kilograms. The aerodynamics generate over 1,000 pounds of downforce at speed, more than the Chiron ever produced. It has carbon ceramic brakes, front and rear. The entire structure is built around the idea that this is not just a faster Chiron, it is a different philosophy altogether. This is not an expensive car dressed in sophisticated clothes. The engineering is exceptional. Every number Bugatti has released points to the same conclusion. The Tourbillon may be the most complete hypercar ever constructed. The ZR1X is democracy. The Tourbillon is what monarchy produces when it is operating at peak performance. I'll give Bugatti that. The verdict. So can the Tourbillon stop the American invasion? No. Not because it is not exceptional. It is. Not because it cannot beat the ZR1X. In most measurable categories, it probably does. It cannot stop the invasion because it is not playing the same game. The Tourbillon costs roughly 22 times as much as the ZR1X. It produces significantly more power. It has one of the most complex drivetrains ever put into a production car. It has an interior that belongs in a museum. And every single unit is already sold to 250 people most of us only read about. But the American invasion was never about which car is technically superior. It was about which car can actually be used. The ZR1X put a $175,000 Corvette in the same sentence as $3 million European machinery and made people question everything. That is not just a product comparison. That is a cultural shift. No amount of watchmaker-grade dashboards, carbon monocoques, or 9,000 RPM V16s can reverse it. But here is what I will give Bugatti that I will not give their critics. They did not fight cheap. They did not lower the price. They did not add more turbos and chase the same old record. They looked at the invasion and said, fine, we are going somewhere you cannot follow. And then they built one of the most expensive, most sophisticated, most technically complete production cars in automotive history to prove that point. Is the Tourbillon the greatest car ever made? Probably. Does that matter? That depends on what game you think we are playing. Because the ZR1X will still beat it on price. It will beat it on accessibility. It will beat it on every metric the person watching this video can actually interact with. Bugatti built Versailles. Chevrolet put a man on the moon. Both of those things happened. Both of them mattered. Molsheim, you built something extraordinary. It just will not stop the invasion. This is Forced Induction TV. I'll see you in the next one.